have been to the hardware store a total of 4 times.
Well, that's being nice.
And we still have not installed a single bit of plumbing.
Everything that I've seen in the old fifth wheel system, that never really made a whole lot of sense to me. So we're gonna start with our freshwater tank. We're gonna pull it out and we're gonna start punching the holes for all the fittings.
Well, water has been sitting in our tanks now for 48 hours. So if there is a leak, it will be. We are 6 weeks into building our tiny home on wheels, or giant stealth van, or camper. I don't know anymore. But what I do know is it's time to work on the plumbing. We tackle this one task that seems to send everyone back to the hardware store multiple times, more than you ever thought possible. I mean, who knew there were so many wrong choices to pick from? We're going to plumb our tanks completely with an extra trapdoor for added safety, all while still keeping that stealthy van life aesthetic and being completely campsite ready. So the one missing thing were hole saws, and we just hit the jackpot at finding all of them.
Ranch. What year?
The mother load.
They're all inch and 3/8.
Yeah, I bought a threaded tee.
Oh shit.
I didn't look.
We have been to the hardware store a total of 4 times.
Well, that's being nice.
Tried 9,657,000.
We have been to the hardware store multiple times. We have ordered multiple items online, and we still have not installed a single bit of plumbing into our build. So there's always that joke with plumbing that you just keep the truck running because you're always gonna need something else or something different. Yeah, I wish there's more I could do, but maybe I'll just do insulation while Brian does his plumbing stuff. Today, Brian is doing the majority of our plumbing today, but alongside that, we do need to finish insulating the area where the plumbing is going. Having the insulation in first is going to be better than trying to install it after there's a bunch of pipes and tubes in the way. I have been given the task of measuring and cutting 2-inch rigid board insulation to put in between our studs and framing, basically. That will be a whole nother layer of insulation on top of that 1-inch already. So the majority of these are all reasonably going to be the same height. It's just the width that's going to vary. So I pre-cut this into that one dimension. So now I'm just going to cut it up into the smaller measurements that vary from spot to spot. That's my plan, at least. And I'm actually going to grab a right angle. After a while of measuring, it can get wonky unless you use a 90-degree right angle thingy. So I may be an artist, but I cannot draw a straight line or cut a straight line. So this is the first time we're cutting the 2-inch insulation by hand with a razor knife, and I have no idea if it will be able to just score one side and snap it. I'm hoping so, because I don't want to have to flip every piece over and cut. Alright, moment of truth. Let's flip this over and see if it just breaks perfectly and we get to do less work. Oh, that was freaking loud. But look at that. That is a pretty straight snap, and I only cut in maybe a third of the way. So that makes me very happy that I just have to cut this once, snap it, and I can put it into place. I love this stuff. So I just decapitated the Pink Panther too. I'm sorry, buddy. Nope, goes this way. Okay, the first one is kind of almost in. There's only 1,000 more to go, and then that'll complete this job. But the main goal today, realistically, is just getting the walls that the plumbing is on
And Brian was ingenious in putting all of our plumbing just in one corner of this build. So that means I don't have to get that much done today. Thanks, Brian.
Welcome. I wanted to go over a few other details and things that I'm doing for our plumbing system. By no means am I an expert on this. I'm just making these decisions based off of what I've experienced. One of those things being PEX push to fit fittings. You can get them, they're pretty generic in my opinion. We had these all over the boat and not one of them failed during all the time that we went sailing or that I had to take it apart and work on it to move some stuff around. My experiences with everything that I've seen in the old fifth wheel system, where it was the barb that goes in, and then you have more or less a clamp on the outside, that never really made a whole lot of sense to me. I don't even know what to say about them, but I never thought that they were really the way to go. So I'm definitely avoiding that. The other option was to buy the $180 tool and put it in here and stretch it out and then put it together, and then it slowly clamps down back to its original shape. To disconnect either one of those systems, you basically just have to cut it apart to be able to move stuff around or get to something if you need to move a water heater in a tight space and be able to push it out of the way to get to something else behind it. These are going to give you a lot better option. They've just worked for us. So that was really why I decided that we were going to plumb with these. I know that they're costly, but even the ones in the fifth wheel for the 2,000 miles that we drove around with it, they didn't fail either. And when we sold the fifth wheel and we took our water heater with us, it was simply just disconnecting it with a simple tool that grabs on to the PEX fitting and releases the pipe. It was super simple. To put it together, you just have a nice clean edge and insert it in there, and you'll push until you finally feel it kind of give that last little bit. You know, and then it's solid. There's no way that's coming apart without a tool. Or if you know how to release this with a pair of channel locks or something like that, which I've done before. But the tool simply just clamps on there. It presses down this little release mechanism and your pipe slides out. That easy. They are worth looking into if you've never used them before. You know, you guys make up your mind. You can do all the research you want on it. I've done research on all the fittings and all of them have pluses and minuses. But like I've said, we're just going with what we've experienced and doing the best we can. Now that we've got our tanks from NTO Tanks, it's time to get some plumbing done today. So we're gonna start with our freshwater tank. We're gonna pull it out and we're gonna start punching the holes for all the fittings to go in them, and then we'll work through each tank and then start getting this thing plumbed. The tank kits that you can buy with the tanks let you place your fittings wherever you want to, which makes things extremely easy for the build on where we wanted all of the plumbing to come out of, and it's all going to be in one corner. It looks like it's going to be extremely easy to just punch holes in there and get them seated and fitted, so let's check it out and see how it goes. A good thing to do that Katie just did is when you pull something out of its original spot where it's going to go, things can get turned around really fast. So Katie threw on a couple marks that let us know what side's the driver's side, what side's the passenger side, what side's the top. Save yourself some trouble or some headaches later, and just mark it.
Hold on. I need to rethink this. How did we do this last time?
Let's pick pure comedy, I tell you.
Move.
1.25 inch hole saw. 1.25 inch. You please double check that.
For the record, this is 1 1/4, also known as 32 millimeters.
The fittings come with instructions with detailed plans on how to, drill your holes, what size hole bits you need and stuff like that. So we're gonna start with something easy and do the ventilation hole in the top of the freshwater tank. And we'll put it at 31. All right, we have our hole marked. Time to drill. No.
Oh, you lost it.
Clean up the hole. Get all the melted bits out of the way. These tanks are roughly 3/8 of an inch thick, which is nice to know. I always think of plastic being extremely thin and flimsy.
Does that go with your tuber fur?
Tuber furs, goes with my tuber furs. I always think of plastics being thin and flimsy, but these things are quite thick and hefty. Even though their shapes are a little wonky, they still are nice and rigid. Now that we've got our hole drilled, we're gonna insert the Uniseals into the hole and see how that goes.
Okay, well, did you want a close-up of that going in or no? Well, that's how easy it is. I couldn't even film it. It just went right in.
Super easy. And then this piece, being the vent hole, will now push in here. They say to lube it with a little bit of dish soap. We'll see how it goes without it. I'll let you know. Oh yeah, this one's doable.
Okay, yeah.
The next one, the larger size, I don't feel will be doable.
There is chamomile lavender hand lotion in the girls' bathroom, so that might be our dish soap. We'll see. We may need that if it's more difficult. I don't think it's gonna pop out on the road.
I believe in it. It's gonna have.
So that thud was Brian lifting up the entire tank's weight with that fitting. So I think it's good.
This tank will have a fitting down in the bottom corner for the water exit. And it's 100 gallons. Water is what?
8.6 pounds per gallon.
Oh, okay. So there'll be 860 pounds of water in here roughly at fullest capacity ever. And I figured the smallest test I could give was to at least try and lift the tank by the fitting to see if it budged or moved, and the amount of, yeah, everything's good. Now comes the 1.5-inch fitting, and we're gonna drill that same in the, in the center area, just a little bit farther down towards the driver's side. And I'm becoming less nervous as I drill holes in our brand new tanks.
Brian's grabbing a hole saw from the hardware store because we're borrowing some tools right now and they're a little too wonky or missing the size we need. So that'll give me a little bit of time to slap in more insulation before the plumbing goes in. This corner needs to be shaved off a bit because our 2-inch insulation is just a little bit thicker than what a 2x4 is. Not all tasks have made me feel as if I'm making progress with the build. However, this small task of installing insulation panels made me smile. This could be the extra barrier needed to prevent mandatory fuzzy socks. One thing that sucks about this project is that it's only being applied where it's needed. It's stop and go as other systems are falling into place. Some areas need to be insulation free, while others urgently need the foam board before it's too difficult to add it after. One must be strategic as to not make more work for thyself in the future. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and see how the entire build is progressing, to feel any sense of accomplishment, to get that satisfactory check off the list feeling.
First test, no way.
No way.
No way. Need some. We need lube.
Would you like me to bring some hand lotion?
Why is it so chunky?
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
I am down. Push my way now. Ew. I touched the soap and it creeped me out.
4 inches, that's really... So I'm just trying to figure out to try and get back to this I-beam or back to this frame rail to be able to more or less mount all of the ABS structure so it doesn't just wobble around and get that crap beat out of it. Okay, back inside. Back inside. Drill bit up right there. And I'm gonna drill some holes in our boat. First, we'll start with a small one.
Yeah, that's a good sign. We can see the ground.
That means there's no I-beam in the way.
Yay!
Now let's go and double check where they came out of outside. I know it's quite a bit farther away than the frame rail.
What'd you do?
One's right here.
That's close.
So this one needs to just come over this way
Okay.
and that will be fine.
That one's good.
This one's good. And then they'll link all up here.
I don't know why I thought they'd be closer to the center for some reason.
Yeah, I was hoping, but
Oh,
no. Okay, let's go take care of that.
Got a hole in your boat.
Got 2 holes in the boat. All right, well, while Katie's sitting at home waiting for a delivery for us, you guys are stuck with me today. So we're gonna get some plumbing done. We've got our holes drilled already in the floor and all of our fittings are in our tanks. So we're gonna plumb the tanks through the floor so we can get to the ABS. When you're working with PVC to ABS, you're gonna use a coupling, a threaded coupling, and I've just got some plumber's tape around it. You can't glue ABS to PVC, it doesn't work, so you gotta use threads for it. I'm just gonna primer both pieces. It's been a while since I've done some plumbing, so if I look a little rusty, there's a reason why. We got both of our downturns in. Now we're gonna hop outside and do our ABS connections. All right, so we got all of our pre-cutting done for our ABS collection. The gray water will come down and flow into where the black tank empties out, which will flush that last section of it and then go into the master linking hose that we all know and love and adore. Each tank is getting its own valve, and then there's a master valve as well for a little bit added protection. We had one of these valves leak on the 5th wheel. We thought it was all the way in because there was a little bit of a recoil to it. It wasn't actually all the way in. And when I popped the tap, it was just a little dribble that came out. So I didn't ever want that again. So I figured a 3-stage system would really work out well in this. When you put plumbing together, it actually, once you put the glue on there, actually comes together quite a bit more than what I had planned for. And so I'm about 3/8 of an inch short. So we'll go grab a coupling and fix it. Quick little chop and we'll have this fixed in no time at all. We'll put some supports in here. Make sure it doesn't bounce around too much. And that looks good. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that a lot of people are going to notice in this video is that our black tank is using 1.5-inch pipe to come out, not your traditional 3-inch. And a lot of people are going to be concerned that that's too small to release all of your waste. We all know that anything like that is a possibility, from toilet paper, etc., etc. One of the things that we decided to go with to help prevent that was a marine toilet. This particular marine toilet has a macerator in it. So it's going to chop things up real good before it dumps it in the tank, and it should flush out just as easily as anything ever has. 1.5-inch plumbing is what we had on the boat, and our sailboat never had any problems whatsoever getting rid of waste while we were at sea or any other way while using 1.5-inch plumbing. So we're really confident in it, and it might be a different thing for you guys to look at and kind of discover. There were a couple of little different things I had to do with the plumbing that I didn't even know existed. Like, I didn't know that there were these fittings, but they were easily accessible to get from one of the RV manufacturers, to go from 1.5-inch plumbing to 3-inch plumbing. And 3-inch plumbing on the full exit is the common adapters and everything you need to dump into a normal waste. So let's go take a look at that real quick, and I'll show what I mean. So this is what I'm talking about. This is 1.5-inch coming into 3-inch plumbing. And this 1.5-inch, there is a piece that you can buy that then dumps it into a 3-inch. We have a normal wastegate valve that comes in 1.5 inch. It was super easy to get. So we put in one for our gray water and our black water. Then as everything flushes out, for a safety precaution, we went ahead and put in a 3-inch wastegate valve, just to make sure no accidents happen while we're on the road. I was able to tuck them up in here and keep them kind of out of sight, out of mind. It looks really natural down here, even with this sticking out. So for stealth camping, that should be a big bonus for us. That's the way we're going with our plumbing. Like and subscribe, and make sure to follow along. And if there's any problems, I'll definitely share it with you and show how it is that I ultimately dealt with that problem.
I am back at the box truck today. Did you miss me? Since I have been gone and Brian's been working on the plumbing, we're gonna put that plumbing to the test and run some water through the system. We're gonna make sure there are no leaks at any of the fittings. We're also gonna make sure that everything drains properly and moves where it's supposed to go, which is downhill, which is hopefully how Brian plumbed it all. Do you think it will all work out perfectly fine?
I try not to think.
Brian tries not to think, and that's totally fine. Plumbing could be done today, or it could need a lot more work. Let's figure that out. Brian has completed all of the plumbing. He is confident-ish that everything is watertight, and we're going to put that to the test by running a garden hose all the way into our home and filling up the tanks. This could be disastrous, or this could be a great success. Anything to add, Mr. Plumber Man?
Yeah, our first test is going to be the black tank flush. And I've got the hose all set up. So we'll go ahead and get it connected and turn on some water and see how we do.
What is a black water flush for those at home that do not know?
Your black tank flush is basically what you're hooking up a hose to, and it has a nozzle about that far inside of the tank and disperses water in multi-directions. Kind of flushes all of the contaminants off the walls.
It's like an internal car wash sprinkler system to clean the inside of the tank, basically.
I like it. Yes, exactly what she said.
What's up? I'm here to test the poop sprinkler. Okay, I'm ready. Oh. I think we're good. I don't feel any moisture. I should have washed my hands before because they feel weird, but I don't feel any moisture. I don't see anything.
2 people checking is never a bad thing. Yeah, looks good. So we'll let this fill a little bit so we can get it to a level that will fill the waste tank. Make sure that there's no plumbing leaks in the actual tank or any of the fittings going to the outside.
Do you think we should wait overnight with the water in the tank just to make sure there's no slow leaks or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't see that being a bad idea at all.
Okay. Well, water has been sitting in our tanks now for 48 hours. So if there is a leak, it will be there, even if it's a slow leak. We wanted to do this longer test and let it sit for a couple days, just in case there are those small pinhole leaks that you don't see right away.
Well, Houston, we have a problem. We have a small leak. So we came in this morning and found that there's a leak. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you up on how it is that we fix it.